Greetings. Monique here, also known as the Moon Mama. Um, I wanted to talk some more about cancer season and some suggestions and practices that we can incorporate in cancer season to help us transform family trauma, pain, and, you know, generational curses. Let's just say that. But one of the things that's really important, because cancer governs family, it also governs our emotions and our sense of security. So, one of the practices that's really good to do during cancer season is think about your childhood and think about like the negative experiences that you had, the things that happened that you would say happened to you, and begin to look at those experiences and get clear about how those things helped you become who you are. So, for instance, I was raised in I was raised by my grandmother. Um, I grew up in Watts. It was a very sort of chaotic environment, and I pretty much raised myself, honestly. Now, when I was young, this seemed like an unfortunate occurrence because I remember people often felt a lot of pity for me. It was like, oh, Monique's mother is not around and her dad is this and um and at some point I started to take that on, and I also kind of felt sorry for myself. But as I matured, one of the things that I've realized is that I'm really independent. I'm also a Virgo though, so astrology will make you into who you're meant to be. Your natal chart, the codes, the patterns will use your life to form you into who you're meant to be. And I'm a Virgo with the Sun conjunct Pluto and Jupiter. So I just had a lot of freedom as a child. I didn't have caregivers who were tracking me, who were making sure I got things done, or who were nurturing me, or any of those kinds of things. And so, you know, for a long time, that occurred as a disadvantage in my life. But when I got to be an adult, I realized that I didn't have the attachment to parental perspectives. I, I never really cared about, I don't want to say I didn't care about what people thought about me, but because that's not what, I did care about what people thought about me. I have Venus and Mercury in Libra in the seventh house. But I was able to develop myself, my own thinking, my own perspectives. Um, I really had the freedom, the autonomy to discover my own self and discover ideas and perspectives that worked for me and that didn't work for me. You know, at 3 and 4, I was cooking my own food, and at 7 and 8, I was walking myself to school. And so I'm from Generation X, right? So I had a lot of freedom, and that didn't seem like a benefit as a child because it occurred as neglect. But as an adult, now that I have been able to look at my life and reframe it and and see the differences, not through necessary comparison, but just understanding the benefits of being an unparented child. And there are many benefits. Like I said, I learned to think for myself. I learned to navigate the world by myself. I was able to ride the bus all over the city. I was able to negotiate relationships with adults, and I was able to make decisions for myself very young. And as an adult, that has all come in handy because I'm still very independent. I'm not the kind of woman that requires the the that that would need like the protection of a man. I also fought a lot as a child. So I could protect myself. I could fight. I could whoop somebody's ass. Like, I really was a really tough little girl. And that turned into being a tough teenager who knew how to defend herself. And, maybe when I was about 21 or 22, I made a decision to stop fighting because I was like, you're about to end up in jail. So I made some other decisions. But think about your childhood experiences, the really challenging ones, maybe the ones that make you feel like, like your family did a disservice to you or things like that. And then see how that is a benefit, how that actually nurtured you into who you have become. And every day maybe you can write down something from your childhood that you thought was not a good idea. So like, I also thought being a Christian was a really awful thing. Like, it was really challenging for me. But now, as an adult, I have studied all manner of religions, and I have found my own path to God because I had to get clear about what really mattered to me. I started to understand my own value system as a very young person. And when I realized that this notion of Jesus and believing in somebody didn't pay off for me, like, I realized as a young person, I needed to believe in myself because nobody was coming to save me, that I needed to save myself. And that has made me very self-reliant, very, self-studied. It's just made me who I am. And I didn't always appreciate it, but now I do, because everything works out for our good when we believe that, and when we give ourselves the perspective to see it from the lens that it's working for us and not against us. So while we're in this Cancer Sun energy, look at the things that challenged you in your life as a child and begin to ask, how did this challenge serve me? How did this support me in becoming who I am? And if you cannot find the answers in how it served, then that means that you have some work to do. And if you'd like to work with me, you can book a session at my website, healwithmoonmama.com, and I will support you in beginning to see your life through a new lens so that you can begin to access your power. The purpose of my work and what I do is to help people access their power and their magic, because we all have it. But many of us, our power and magic is caught up in negative thought forms, in trauma, in stories that we are telling ourselves that disempower us, that making us incapable of accessing our magic and our intuition and all those sort of things. So Cancer is about our intuition, our feelings, our emotions. And so how you feel about yourself, the stories you're telling about yourself based upon your childhood experiences, are the key to you having power in your life. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Again, you can check me out at healwithmoonmama.com. And I would love to support you in waking up to your magic, your power, and understanding your childhood from the lens of the purpose that it served, and not from being a victim or being at the effect of experiences that have kept you trapped. And that can be things like molestation, family traumas, all of it, whatever it is. It all can serve you if you're willing to believe that it serves you. All right. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.